right, thank you for staying with us on Citizen Daybreak. I am joined in studio by Dr. Abdi Mohammed, who is the chair of the Social Health Authority. We also have the Member of Parliament for Nyeri Town, Duncan Madhenge, who is also a member of the Health Committee. We also have in studio Dr. Brian Lishenga, chairperson, RUFA, the Rural Urban Private Hospitals Association. And we also have the CEO of the Kenya Healthcare Federation, that is Dr. Tim Theory. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning. And we're examining SHA a year since its operationalization. We began with the question of Linda Mama vis-a-vis Linda Jamii, following remarks made by the president yesterday that Linda Jamii under SHA is superior to Linda Mama. I've heard from all of you, but I'm going to give you right of reply, okay. Dr. Abdi, on the question.
Okay, thank you very much. You know, unfortunately, when we throw numbers, it's meant to make things look not the way they are. But the reality is, if you paid a facility 5,000, and that's it, but the baby goes to NICU, a neonatal ICU, and stays there for 10 days, or 5 days, or 3 days, Linda Mama was not paying a shilling, a dime out of that. Today, we pay 28,000 shillings per night for that baby. Previously, that was a non-existence because that mother had to cough the money for that baby. And the 41,000 that I talked about are just the teenage mothers, not every mother who has given birth. These are the ones who are vulnerable, they are below 18, they don't have a national ID, they don't have a source of income.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because yes, Dr. Theory has said this has been identified as a weakness, right? Yes. That these people have not been registered and they have not made contributions. So what's your plan? So
for these mothers, the hospitals are able to register during clinic and register them as vulnerable, and they get a unique identifier, which is not a national ID, but they are given a client registry, a CR number, which now identifies them until they reach the age of 18, which now expires after they reach 18. But that mother and that baby, or that new household, now has a cover for the whole year. But he talked about vulnerable.
So wait, so one of the differences, if I'm understanding you correctly, is the referral system. So they're supposed to start from...
No. Even at the level, any level that they show up, as long as you are under 18, the facility is able to register you.
So why hasn't that been happening?
There is information gap in some of the facilities and people not understanding. And unfortunately, what has been happening in this country is all the things that we try to communicate to the public is drowned by fake news and false narratives. So you find all the things that the public is supposed to understand is covered by all these other stories that don't make any sense sometimes. You wonder, why would people be actively? And for me, what I am still wondering...
But these are mothers themselves at these facilities. So are they giving us fake news? No. I have not told you the mothers are the ones who are giving you. It is, you have asked me, why has this information not reached? It is the media that's supposed to help us spread this information to the general public. But what we encounter every day is these stories that are... Everything that you hear about SHA is, you might think, sometimes, some days I wonder whether the roof is about to collapse or I live in a different country.
It is about to collapse.
No. So the thing that we need to understand and we need to agree on is, you cannot tell me, and for me what surprises me as a former facility owner, is a private facility would say they were happy with the 5,000 that they were getting.
Okay.
Or the 17,000.
It was underfunded. He's agreed.
Exactly.
Oranges. It's not the same thing.
I want to write down their points. I want to write down these 2 points. There's something that Mheshimiwa said, and that was, we are at a place where we need to take a certain decision, all right? And we can't be people who are very intransigent on the face of alternative facts, all right? A good idea must give way to a better idea. We've had learnings of SHA for the last 1 year. What has worked and what has not worked. Clearly, communication is one of the things that has not worked. We've not done it well, all right? And we must figure out how do we do it better, all right? There's certain things that demand of us to go back to the law itself. If that is what is demanded of us, we cannot be intransigent in the face of that. Let us go back and change those things that are meant to work together. All right? What you've had here is a conversation of all of us agreeing that healthcare belongs to Kenyans. And the Constitution is very clear in its preamble. It says, we, the people of Kenya, commit to the well-being and nurturing of the individual, the family, the community, and the nation.
Okay. All
right? And then it goes, give me a minute for this. And it further goes into, I think, article in the Bill of Rights, all right? And the economic right. Actually, it's an economic right that Kenyans have the right to the highest attainable standard of care, all right? And we can do it, and we must do it together. What Dr. Abdi here is saying is that there has been a communication gap, all right? What he's also saying, registration can happen at facilities, all right? So it means there are two actors here, all right? There's a government that has undertaken saying, as we know our people, we are their agents, and we are going to procure this service for them and or on their behalf, all right? They come to a provider who says, okay, we've agreed on this particular term. So when you don't keep your end of the agreement, then there's a problem.
Okay.
But we are agreeing, we are both in it to make it work. So, as I end my point, we cannot agree we are here to make it work, and then on one hand, tunaitwa wakora.
Okay. Dr. Lishenga, let me come to you now. Mheshimiwa, just let him respond. Dr. Abdi says he wakes up and he gets the sense that the roof is collapsing, and he says, according to him, the roof is not collapsing. You hold the view that the roof is collapsing. Why is that?
In fact, it has collapsed in some places because Dr. Abdi.
That's the only place.
Dr. Abdi, I need to tell Dr. Abdi. Dr. Abdi, I did an incognito visit to SHA yesterday, and SHA is a ghost town, and he will tell you it's a ghost town because he has deployed AI. It's a ghost town because the place is, you can literally not find any assistance there. But, so start with that collapse first. Now, secondly, I just want to respond to the issue of Mheshimiwa raised about postnatal cover and ANC cover under Linda Mama. Just to help you understand, yes, it existed. We did have a number of visits covered under Linda Mama for women. First of all, ANC was covered, and also postnatal care was covered. The only thing we are going to talk, and I already said this point, the funding level was not sufficient. We should have, actually had better reimbursement. It was 500 bob per visit for ANC, and postnatal we had 1,000 shillings, but very limited visits, okay? Now, so it was there. The point was the cover was insufficient, but it was a fantastic idea. Secondly, I think that when Dr. Abdi says that, now we cover NICU under a neonatal intensive care unit under Linda Jamii, it really just reminds me of the disinformation. He's talking here about, they are trying to communicate, but they are being flooded with the wrong information. They are the kings of disinformation and PR. Let me explain, and I will just explain why this is. For example, announcements that NICU is covered. This idea is talking about NICU is covered. You just need to go to a public hospital anywhere in this country and go to a neonatal intensive care unit and interview a mom and ask them whether they are not incurring out-of-pocket expenditure. They are incurring out-of-pocket expenditure. Number two, let me finish this point.
Let him confirm.
Let me finish this
is
point.
It covered or not covered?
Allow me to finish this point.
Let him finish.
Allow me to finish this point. Number two, when we are comparing Linda Jamii with the Linda Mama, we are actually doing disinformation, and that's why I'm telling them they should stop disinformation. Just because both of them are preceded by the name Linda doesn't mean they are the same thing. The only comparison we should make is Linda Jamii, which is Taifa Care, which is, SHIF, whatever you want to call it. We should make the comparison between Linda Jamii and NHIF. So if you want to make a better comparison, ask yourself, does the benefit under Linda Jamii supersede the benefit that NHIF was covering? Number 3, let me just,
Does it supersede?
It's the same.
No.
It's the same, and I will explain.
That's a lie.
You will have a right of reply.
Okay.
You will have a right of reply. Number 3, the main issue here is on this topic of Linda Mama and Linda Jamii. And we started very well on this. The main issue is vulnerable cover. Cover for Kenyans who are poor, needy, at risk of abuse, who do not have means to pay. This is the main issue we are discussing. What does the law provide? And right now, it provides that one, and Mheshimiwa is here, and I'm happy you're here, it provides that the National Assembly will appropriate money for the cover of vulnerable and indigent people. That is what it provides. These guys in Parliament actually did not do that.
Okay.
They did not do that, and it's really unfair that they did not do that to the Kenyan people. Number 2, the same law, the regulations provide that county assemblies, county governments, will appropriate through county treasury money for vulnerable and indigent people in the counties. With the exception of very few counties, most counties actually haven't provided that money. Now, what you saw what the president was doing the other day, which we, by the way, applaud. When nice things are done, you say, thank you, this is very nice, was, I cannot understand it, because the money should have been appropriated by Mheshimiwa in the budget. We looked for that. We were looking for it very hard. We did not see it. Now we have sponsors. Okay, yeah. So now what Abdi is doing, Abdi is doing sponsors. Okay, he's saying now do sponsors. The law provides that Mheshimiwa appropriates. Him is now doing a Hall of Fame and you know, celebrating people for sponsorship. Number 3, finally on this issue. What we would like is for them to get away from gimmicks and public relations and actually follow the law. So national and county governments have the responsibility to cover Kenyan women. It is their responsibility by law. We need to see county assembly budgets having a line called vulnerable and indigent women. And with the exception of a few counties, that's happening. We need to see Parliament in the next budget. Okay, actually, the next budget is too far. In the supplementary. In the supplementary, we want to see a line there for vulnerable and indigent women. They give Dr. Abdi that money. He stops defending them for whatever reason he's defending them. They give him that money, and then he gives those vulnerable women a cover similar to the SHA cover.
All right. Okay, so Mheshimiwa, I'll ask you to respond to that before we get into suspension of services. Go ahead.
Now, the first area is on the question of information gap. Olive, at the commencement of UHC, we introduced an army of 150,000 community health promoters, with each promoter assigned 100 households that they have to cover. And when you have, I doubt that in the provision of government services before, we have had such a network focusing on households. And you will remember that among some of the oppositions we had to the rollout of the Community Health Promoters Program were the medics in terms of what they were supposed to do. But you realize then, apparently, it was a false alarm because the work is cut out for this group of community health workers at the lowest level. And I will have to ask the question, in the realities of the presence of community health promoters, when I am in Nyeri over the weekend, in every funeral, I find the local unit of community health promoters, in every wedding, in church gatherings, in fundraisings. But when we look at the level of compliance in terms of registration across counties, we see big disparities, some above 50, 60%, others at 3%, 4%, 5%. And therefore, there's need that with SHA at 1, a realistic review of what is working, what is not working, and with what is not working, with the resources available, what needs to be done. On the question of indigents, the identification and classification of indigents is not the responsibility of the health sector. It is the responsibility of the State Department for Social Protection.
Misinformation.
And therefore, we need to plug in as the health sector on the work. Please wait, Dr. Brian. You kept saying right of reply.
I will help you. Legally, it is the responsibility of SHA.
No.
You are the one supposed to do means testing
surely
on indigent. That is what your regulation says.
Wait to be educated.
No.
Allow.
All right, let Mheshimiwa finish.
Let Mheshimiwa. When you go to Senate, you will tell us. But allow.
But he raises, okay.
Dr. Brian.
But he raises a pertinent point.
No. He doesn't understand.
What do you mean I don't understand?
No, we cannot judge it.
It's a measure for determining those who are not in formal employment what they should
pay.
They should pay.
I will
read, Brian. And social protection has been there before the coming in of SHA. They are responsible for the for Inua Jamii. They are responsible for some cash transfers to orphans, to persons living with disabilities. Let's plug in. We should not duplicate. This should be a shared service. And the other area of indigence are people in correction, in prison, under the State Department for Correction Services. They consume medical care, and they ought to be paid for. Sponsors are welcome. They plug in the gaps.
On the question of now that you've talked about sponsors,
yes,
have you dropped the ball?
No.
On the question of appropriation,
we have not dropped the ball.
Olive,
because let me take you there, Olive. Before we go to appropriations, where does appropriations start? Dr. Brian just wants to come to the budget. I am inviting him to come to the formulation of the budget policy statement, where ceilings for sectors are set. And let us go and collectively fight for the ceiling for the health sector to be increased, supported by irrefutable data, corrected, verifiable, and indisputable.
So, Olive, just on 19th of September, last month, we were at State House, and we had the function for indigents and vulnerable. 2.2 million Kenyans were paid for. That money came from the social protection, and it came to Social Health Authority. The problem with Brian, I have told you, is because he believes he is in an echo chamber where these stories, lies are repeated. So sometimes he believes what he's reading continuously and thinks that's the correct position. It is the social protection, and it's in our regulation, and it clearly states the social protection ministry will appropriate money for vulnerables and indigents. So the money does not need to come to the Ministry of Health or SHA directly from Treasury. It comes through the appropriate ministry, and it comes to SHA after the people have been identified by the social protection. So on the issue of earlier, when you talked about, and I have told you, I owned a facility. And anyone who runs a facility, even today, will tell you, we pay ICU 28,000 shilling. Whether it is for adult, NICU, or even adult.
Okay.
Ask around any hospital. You can go and check and confirm on your own. And what you need to realize is NHIF never used to pay for ICU. It used to pay the normal bed rebates for that facility. Even as SHA, when we started, we started with a normal bed rebate in the first 2 to 3 months. Then we have realized ICU is a burden to many Kenyans, and that was increased to 28,000.
All right.
And
but
it's
what
a benefit that's available
across the board is that the money available is not sufficient to meet the need that is there on the ground. That's what I'm hearing.
No, the vulnerable.
Yes, okay.
No, you see, he's mentioned me too much.
I know.
Give him the right of reason.
No.
I need to.
Dr. Peure has agreed.
Let me just say.
Now we still come back to SHA to one.
Dr. Abdi, number one, you cannot celebrate mediocrity. So, let me explain why. When you say that you are paying 28,000 in ICU, I am saying that it does not help this country achieve UHC. Remember, pillar number 1 of UHC, the main reason for UHC is to protect individuals against catastrophic health expenditure. But I want to finish this point. I want to finish this point this way. When we were with you, and your team, that time you were not chairman of SHA, you were on our side. We said very clearly, for instance, the minimum reimbursement for ICU Olive per day that we were discussing with Dr. Abdi here before he jumped to the other side was 44,000 per day. Okay? And by the way, they went ahead and put 28,000 outside of the gazetted tariff. It was a declaration of the minister, okay? But nonetheless, I am just saying we cannot celebrate 28,000 per day when it falls far below the actual cost of care.
So let me ask him, is 28,000 being paid now? Yes or no? Because you see, previously he said it wasn't paid.
Allow me to finish.
Okay.
Allow me to finish. I'm just saying 28,000 is not protecting Kenyans against catastrophic health expenditure, because when we costed, you and I arrived at the point that it is not enough. Number 2, Olive, Mheshimiwa, I want to point you to regulation number 19, and I will read it, Olive, about who is responsible for what. Regulation number 19 of the SHA regulations, and I'm just reading verbatim here. It says, households in need of financial assistance, part 1, the authority, Dr. Abdi, shall use means testing instrument in the manner provided. Shall use what? Means testing instrument in the manner provided in Regulation 21 to identify indigent households. That is your work, to identify indigent households that require financial assistance and from the national government and counties. Number 2, it says, now this is where the issue of what you're saying comes through, Mheshimiwa. It says, the Cabinet Secretary responsible for matters relating to social protection shall be liable as a contributor in the case of the national government. Wait a minute. The point is, before the Cabinet Secretary, social protection becomes liable, Dr. Abdi and SHA should have identified indigent households for them and told them, that is in the case of the national government, these are the guys who are indigent, now you are liable for them. That is the proper procedure. And then it says, in the case of counties, the CEC responsible for matters relating to social protection shall be the liable contributor. It then proceeds on to say that the amount payable every month shall be the best premium calculated. You know that. And then finally, who is responsible monetarily? At the national government, the Cabinet Secretary in charge of the National Treasury shall deduct. You wrote it very clearly. So these are the procedures. Dr. Abdi identifies, he says these are the indigent homes. Once he identifies, he sends the portion for national government goes to the Cabinet Secretary for social protection. The portion for county goes to counties, okay? Then the National Treasury deducts for National Treasury, for the national government. And on counties, the county CEC in charge of finance deducts. The failure of the Social Health Authority to identify indigents for over 1 year has been catastrophic for the women, for the people of Kenya. They should have done this a whole long time ago. They wrote it in their regulation. They should have done it way in advance to allow Parliament to appropriate that money. But now we are doing it. So I have no problem with sponsors. I myself am a sponsor. Okay, I have no problem. But this is not what the law provides. The law provides sponsorship as number C. The first one is National Assembly appropriates. County governments put money. But we are happy to sponsor. We are very happy to sponsor Kenyans.
So I'm going to put a pin in this conversation. Yeah. They say the proof is in the pudding. We were coming to SHA at one. The question of suspension of services, the question of the debt from NHIF to SHA, and also the debt accrued by SHA. Let's take a look at what citizens across the country. I think it is Kisumu, Garissa. You said, Ibra, you said Kisumu, Garissa and Samburu. All right, let's get those thoughts.
Kwa sahi mama mboga anaweza kuwa na ugumu fulani ya kulipa hiyo SHA. SHA inalipwa kwa sahi mara moja, ambaye kama unalipa 500 utalipa 6,000 kwa mwaka, na utapata ni ngumu sana kwa mama mboga, ambapo NHIF tulikuwa tunalipa 500 per month. Ilikuwa a bit easier kwa mama mboga ama kwa yule mwenye maisha yake iko chini. Kwa saa hizi kama mimi sijailipa kwa sababu gani? 6,000 kupata mara moja na uchumi ya saa hii ni ngumu.
Siwezi sema SHA ni mbaya because personally SHA imenisaidia directly, and I had a patient mwenye alikuwa na cancer stage 4. SHA ilimfanyia operation, ikatusimamia bill worth almost 380,000 na ilitulipia yote. Alikuwa hapa Jaramogi. Then the patient was transferred to Nairobi, whereby tulimpeleka, alikuwa anatibiwa Coptic, akifanyiwa chemo. And in that process of chemo, SHA ilikuwa inatulipia pesa ya drugs za chemo zote.
But ilikuwa nafikiria serikali wangefanya hivi. Kuna wengine tu ukiona wengine wako na banki kuu yao kule, wangeangalia tu wenye wako chini ni watu wa aina gani na wenye wako juu ni watu wa aina gani. Juu mimi naona kama wengine kama sisi watu tumeishi slums, utakuja utapata mwingine pengine amesacrifice kununua hizo vitu yenye yako nayo kwa nyumba, na juu ukienda pale kwa SHA wanakuuliza ati unaenda choo gani, ati mara sijui kwa siku umekaa nyumba unalipa pesa ngapi. Nyumba pengine unalipa 3,000, pengine mnasaidiana na mke ya kwako. Sasa pengine wakisikianga tu unapata. Sasa nilikuwa naomba serikali waangalie vile watasaidia wenye hii wako chini. Juu kuna wengine wakikuja tu pale utaona tu huyu jamaa ako na pesa ama huyu mtu ako na pesa. Sasa sisi tulikuwa kama mimi nilishtuka sana nikisikia niko na hiyo 40,000 ndio niende nilipe. Nikaona wacha ni relax kwanza.
Kila siku person with disability wananipigia simu ya kusema ya kwamba wapi serikali imetuahidi watalipia pesa ya kwenda hospitali na hakuna kitu wamelipa. Why? Kwa nini? Mimi nikakaa niliwapigia mheshimiwa wetu wa township ambaye wakati ahadi hiyo ilikuwa natolewa tulikuwa na yeye, na akasema ya kwamba yeye ni moja yao, ya kwamba atalipia kabla hata serikali jafika, yeye atakuwa number 1 kutulipia hiyo pesa na tuende tujitibu. Lakini up to now bado hatujapata.
Our patients, they complain that when they go to some of the hospitals, they are turned back. There is no money for that. And I've also seen some cases and some people who are saying that they were treated through SHA. So the government did its part job, good, its part, played well. Maybe there are hospitals who are not doing well and who are corrupt. So I'm urging the government to follow up the matter.
SHA is working. Hapa hospitalini kwetu nimeona kwamba inafanya kazi, imetusaidia. Watu wanapokuja kama haujakata SHA unaambiwa uende ukate, na imeweza kulipia watu wengi hapa katika hospitali yetu ya level 5. Kwa hivyo watu waache kusema SHA haifanyi kazi, it is working. Asante.
Kwa majina naitwa Immaculate Ntijingwa Labria, mkazi wa Wamba. SHA inafanya kazi for those who are employed. But wenye wako rural huko hawana pesa, low standard of living, hawana hiyo pesa jisaidia kulipa SHA. So kama kuna vile government mnaweza angalia pia wenye wako chini mwasaidie.
Majina naitwa Ann kutoka Marala. Naona SHA inafanya vizuri, lakini mimi naimiza tu serikali iongeze madawa. Juu dawa yenye unapewa na umejiandikisha na SHA ni hizi tu mapanadol, unaambiwa hakuna madawa. So naimiza serikali waongeze madawa na wasaidie wamama huko mashinani. Kuna watu wenye hata hawajui SHA ni nini.
Audi Batista Lisopir, nimetoka eneo Samburu Mashariki. SHA inafanya kwa wale ambao wameajiriwa, lakini sisi kama vijana serikali imesema tu register SHA, but sasa kama hatujakuwa employee ni kama hiyo kitu kwetu kama vijana, hiyo ni scam. Lakini sasa tunaomba serikali tusaidie pia wale ambao hawajaajiriwa wapate kusaidika through SHA.
Jina naitwa Mohamed Musa, ni mkazi wa Samburu kutoka Baragoi, na kwa maoni yangu ninasema SHA inafanya, lakini haikosi shida moja mbili. Ukipata pia kwa hospitali vile wanatibu, ukipata outpatient inafanya vizuri, lakini sana sana iko na mashida kwa inpatient, na tunaomba serikali waweze kurectify katika system zao hizi malipo iende haraka sana ndo watu wazidi kusaidika.
Ni Jeremiah Saitoti. Mimi nimetoka side ya Losuk. Kwangu mimi SHA inafanya kazi, nimejionea kwa watu wengine, lakini naona haisaidii sisi kama vijana. Sasa serikali sisi hatuoni haja kuwa na SHA kama vijana, kwa maana hata ukienda hospitali madawa hakuna. Napata hiyo madawa ya SHA ni kidogo sana inaletwa.
Some of the sentiments on the ground, predominantly I've heard, for the employed, it is working. For those who hawajiwezi or unemployed, it is not working. But Dr. Lishenga, I know Dr. Theroy owe you a comment.
I have to be the first one to start.
No, I need him to clarify something for me. Dr. Lishenga, have you resumed offering services under SHA cover?
No, we have not.
How many facilities are we talking?
I will speak to that.
We have not, and let me just mention this. We said that the reason for withdrawal of credit facilities to SHA is because SHA is a very bad creditor. I mean debtor. They borrow money from hospitals, and then they declare that money fraudulent when it comes to paying. So it is on the basis of this, and also they have historical liabilities that they have not settled. The Cabinet Secretary is fond of besmirching hospitals. Like literally, whenever he opens his mouth, Aden Duale, he must insult hospitals and he must insult providers. He does this.
That's not...
Allow me. It's just as recent as yesterday.
Those are his sentiments.
It's just as recent as yesterday when he was saying that hospitals sent fictitious 30 billion. Anytime we ask for our payment, we are cartels, we are thieves. By the way, I think he should be very clear, and he has somehow he believes that is private hospitals. I keep reminding them that 30 billion, 10%, almost 10% of it is owed to MTRH and KNH. So when he's speaking there, let him come out very clearly and say Kenyatta National Hospital, Moi Teaching Referral Hospital, Coast General, which is owed almost 300 million, Nakuru County, which is owed 200 million, Kakamega, which is owed 175 million. They are all thieves and cartels. And he is hurting UHC. He is hurting the confidence that Kenyan people have in their own health system. How would you trust a doctor who tells you need an X-ray when you have Cabinet Secretary every time on TV saying that doctor is a thief, that doctor is a cartel? We are asking them to stop. And because of that, and by the way, they are saying every time we ask for payment, verify. No one has refused verifying. Start yesterday. We have not refused. You want to verify? You want to verify? Verify. No one has refused. And then they themselves said that private hospitals went to hospital to block verification. The doctor went to court, rather. The doctor who went to court about the issue of verification had very, very pertinent issues that the courts agreed with him. But he is a public sector doctor. He was not even private sector. Was even from government side. So let the Cabinet Secretary just calm down, stop calling doctors thieves, Stop calling hospitals cartels. Pay valid bills. No one has stopped him from verifying. In fact, we have been on record saying just 80-something hospitals account for 50% of the NHIF debt. Just 80 hospitals. And most of them, by the way, are very large mission and government hospitals. The money that we are asking to be paid to mashinani and rural facilities is actually, if people saw the money we are begging about, they would actually be shocked.
How much is it?
It is, I mean, I'll say per facility.
Okay. Per
facility, sometimes it's 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 1 million shillings. But for a facility that has one nurse, one clinical officer, and a few staff, that is their lifeblood. So for them to constantly berate hospitals, constantly call hospitals cartels and thieves every time they ask for money, and then they go ahead and say they have rejected 10.6 billion worth of claims. When we announced our notice, they reopened they said, now we have allowed you to resubmit, but we have given you 14 days. Most hospitals can't even see the resubmit button. But again, the other thing about my colleague, Dr. Abdi, every time we raise issues, their first thing they do is to go on the defensive. They do not address issues. Finally, the cabinet secretary went ahead and said he has gazetted fraudulent hospitals. He has gazetted the hospital. He has taken them to DCI. We have no problem. He can do all that. Even if it is illegal, let him continue doing that. But for the chairman of SHA, our request is very simple. There is internal dispute resolution mechanisms in SHA. That must be followed. We should not take issues outside SHA before we have exhausted internal dispute resolution. And right now, there are a lot of hospitals that you suspended that are waiting for your audit report. They are waiting for you to close this process. Those whom you have found culpable, let it be publicized. They have been found culpable. They have a right to appeal. But please do not keep Kenyans pending from their hospitals because you don't want to act on the issue.
What is the state of the debt? Let's start with that.
The state of the debt is this.
Let's start with NHIF to SHA.
So NHIF, what is publicly acknowledged, is about 33 billion. There's going to be arguments that, you know, a lot of it is fictitious, a lot of it is... we are not even contesting that. We have told them whatever they feel belongs to Kakamega County referral that is fictitious, let them remove it. Nobody is refusing. But whatever is clean, let them pay it according to the presidential directive that was given in March. So that 33 billion is pending. Under SHA, as at the end of August, they had 43 billion pending. They went ahead and rejected 10.6 billion. They acknowledged 32 billion. We are in a state where he knows that why they are doing a lot of these things is to push themselves into a financial surplus.
What will it take for you to for you to restore services?
NHIF debt.
I mean, credit facility.
Yeah, NHIF debt must be paid. And please, Dr. Abdi, this is people's lives. Stop getting defensive about NHIF debt. You have been a provider before. A lot of hospitals do the right thing. The cabinet secretary acknowledged that the problem of medical fraud in Kenya, in the world, is about 15% maximum. Okay, under NHIF, I think we used to say around 24%, whatever. But still, just hold on, still, the vast majority of healthcare providers, including yourself when you are a provider, you do the right thing. So to just lump everyone, so number one, let them settle NHIF debt. Number two, the mass rejection of claims. Mass rejection of claims unexplained without the right of appeal should be stopped. Number three, dispute resolutions tribunal. We agree that there are times people will disagree. But we cannot be rushing.
Let him finish.
No, but you see, he's repeating the same things.
No, he's not. He's on mass rejection of claims. I'm listening to him. I'm listening to him.
He's saying
mass rejection of
NHIF claims, mass rejection.
The longer he will take.
I will have to repeat.
Yeah, finish. Mass rejection of claims and appeal.
The only point I will repeat is the one I said that is defensive. That's the point I repeat. So finally, the dispute resolution tribunal needs to be put in place. There is no reason why you will not establish it because you will give us an excuse that you are passing another law that will come and abolish dispute resolution tribunal. In the interim, what will providers do? You have become judge, jury, and executioner and deciding the fate of providers. So let them establish that because it's the law. Where there are disagreements, we expect that those providers will be given a right to be heard.
Okay. All right. Allow me to allow Dr. Theuri.
Yeah, thank you. I will take some 7 minutes.
No.
No,
2 minutes. 2 minutes. No, 2 minutes.
No.
2 minutes. 2 minutes, Max.
There are 3 things that we were promised when SHA was coming to life. And this is on the background of a lot of caution that we had also given. One was that payments will happen on time. The second thing was that primary healthcare was going to work. The third thing was that in law, the expenses or the expenditure of SHA has been capped at 5%. Excellent. And the fourth thing that the presidential advisor on matters healthcare financing had said is that they are going to net the informal sector. Those are the assumptions that were, those were the facts, and some of them assumptions that were placed when SHA was coming to life. So SHA at one, what has worked? SHA does not take Kenyans on credit, all right? You must register and pay for you to get a service. And you've seen Kenyans here who have given us their feedback, all right? Some are saying oncology services are good, inpatient services are great, some surgical procedures are having some issues, but it's very clear, SHA does not take you up if you have not registered and paid as a Kenyan. That is true. Are you agreeing with me?
No, agreed with you.
Yeah.
It's not true.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you register, you access primary health care.
Exactly,
And
yeah.
let's be factual. Let's be factual.
Let finish.
For PHC, all right, when you register...
This is the problem, I told you.
No, that is factual, all right?
Okay.
But now, when I come to SHIF, yeah, and that's where most of the issues are in, they are not taking services on credit, all right? And the second thing is, the board exit report of NHIF, all right, stated that the total amount owed in that board exit report was in the region of about 30 billion, all right? That has not been disputed by anyone. The ministry received that report and said this is a good report and we accept it, all right? 2.85 billion of that was directly owed to facilities and providers, all right? So, at the very least, and it's an appeal I am making to the cabinet secretary, yeah? We are not enemies in this. We just have different opinions, and people don't go to war because of difference of opinion. It's because of information asymmetry. That's why people go to war. And this is perhaps a dispute I'm not interested in. And the reason I say that is because I want healthcare to work for Kenyans. I don't want to get a call to assist me, my facility has not been paid, I've not accessed this service. No, that is not working. Good healthcare is like good drainage. You should not see it. Yeah? You should not see it. You should know it's working when there are floods. When I'm in hospital, I'm in a desperate moment, that is when I should know healthcare is working. The point on fund solvency is, I think, something that we can collectively solve. Yeah? And Mheshimiwa has said it, yeah? The government, the providers, and Kenyans. Who is the government? The government is the president and the people he listens to, all right? Providers, we are known, and we are saying we want to play a part in this. We will register Kenyans. We will ask them to pay. The legislature, that is our MPs, please go back and tell Kenyans that after registration, there is a part that you need to play, and that is paying. There is no free healthcare. That is just the truth. Someone has to pay for it. Now, on the proxy means testing tool, the amendment I would want to see to it is, let us get the fund average premium and agree that this is what people should first pay. If you think you are poorer than that, for lack of a better word, then you take the proxy means testing tool. If government thinks you're richer than that, yeah, then they also subject you to it. Because I cannot come and say, as the Uri, that I am at the level of someone who's in the village. That is just not the truth, all right? The government can subject me to those things. Now, the reason why Brian, and I will defend his position, yeah? His right to punch ends where someone else's nose begins, yeah? The reason that suspension has happened is because of cash flow problems. And I think those mamambogas have also pointed it out. When you ask me to pay upfront for a whole year, I mean, it is okay, all right? But give me the mechanisms for doing that, all right? I can't take that money out of a business to pay, all right? So do we need to make some amendments there? I think the answer is yes. Kenyans who are used to paying the 500 shillings under the former NHIF, but now if you are giving them some certainty in that figure, then they are going to pay. Now, on fund solvency, it is our collective responsibility. All right? We will register Kenyans. We are going to ask them to pay. But the moment they pay into Abdi's pocket, na hata ya tu atulipe. The ministries, state departments, and government agencies, and I will defend Abdi on that, are big defaulters. All right? They will deduct but not remit. And that is why Abdi here is also having a problem with ourselves as providers. So we must have that honest conversation. Okay. Now, Waziri, in my final point, he's called himself a bulldozer, a term that I usually like, and that is great. But bulldozers are not the only tools that build roads. All right? For us to have a good road, if he's decided this is where we are going, he will bulldoze, Abdi atakuja mwage maji kidogo, sisi tutakuja tutandike lami, and then Kenyans will come in and pass. So it must be an all of us approach. This shouting at each other across press conferences, it has to stop. Yeah, it has to stop.
All right. Okay, you've been accused of being defensive. Dr. Abdi, go ahead.
Yes, you know, and this is the problem that we have. I have told you time and again. We try to massage the facts or sometimes take it the other way around. And I want us to be very honest with each other, because I have been in this space. That Linda Mama I told you, I was part of the team that negotiated in 2016. I'm sure Brian was nowhere in that meeting when it was being moved from the Ministry of Health to SHA, to NHIF at that point. So there are a few things that is being misconstrued that needs to be clearly defined. On payment, and they will tell you, all providers, that under SHA we pay monthly, while our contract says 90 days. In real essence, as SHA, we should be paying them 4 times in a year. Only. Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. That's it. If we follow the contract as per the contract that we have with providers. But what do? We pay on a monthly basis.
Okay, but are you rejecting claims en masse because you don't have the funds?
No, that's a lie. You see, you need to allow me to finish.
Go ahead.
So that we are clear. You have to register for you to access primary health care. Primary health care is what's said to be that will achieve and get us to UHC, because 85% of the health needs of the population can be addressed at the primary health care level. Parliament has appropriated, Treasury has dispersed, and PHC is free to every Kenyan as long as you have registered. So it's not a must that for you to access primary health care that you have to pay SHIF. For you to pay SHIF, yes, and they all know, anyone who is honest will tell you, you cannot allow a monthly payment. What does that do? It creates adverse selection. Adverse selection is where I only pay for 1 month, 300 shilling, when I know I need a surgery of 250,000. If I pay only, for example, if you decide you only take insurance for your car after the accident, will that insurance company survive and be able to reimburse your 5 million or 6 million car, and you have paid only 100,000 as comprehensive after the fact? And that's the reason why we created what's called SHA Lipa Pole Pole. No one is paying the full 1 year in advance. No one. You just opt in to SHA Lipa Pole Pole. You actually are able to pay daily, weekly, monthly, as you wish, and it deducts automatically. So let's not spread lies again. There's SHA Lipa Pole Pole, and it gives people the choice to do a daily reimbursement. Forget about the monthly, which was there for NHIF. You can do weekly, you can do monthly.
Okay.
The other thing that he talked about, the law is still very clear, 5% under SHA.
And that's
the law.
That is great.
And it's in law. 95% is to reimburse providers. So when you come to the old NHIF, and as Brian clearly said, there was a presidential direction, which was to say bills that are below 10 million to be paid. which was contributing to 95% of the claims from providers, 95% of the providers. That is going as a supplementary, and we will pay. But Brian also told us that 30% under NHIF.
Let's say 30%.
25%.
24.
Yeah, 24, okay. 24, 25, 30, big difference, was fraudulent claims. In his own words, do 30% of the 30 billion. That's 10 billion. Do you want to say government just says pay the 10 billion which are fraudulent that we know, but let's just pay? And that is hence the reason, even in that directive, was there must be verification. There must be verification. Verification was set up. The team was set up, was gazetted. It would have taken less than 60 days. But people sponsored a court case. The rest of the providers kept quiet, the genuine ones, without realizing that it's going to hurt. And this is very clear from the government position, that without verification, there's no way we will throw 10 billion.
But he's saying they're not opposed to verification.
No, but you see, the court said stop verification. Let me allow me to finish. Allow me to finish. No. Allow me to finish. So that, you see, when people say, all we are saying is we want to verify.
Just verify.
And he's saying they're ready to...
No. We formed the committee. Allow me.
Just verify.
Let me be fair to Dr. Abdi.
Yes, allow me to finish. Allow me to finish, so that we are on the same page. So, what we are saying, and we repeat it again, that there will be no payment without verification.
For which ones?
For the NHIF claims.
For which ones?
No, the 30.
You're not following the presidential directive?
No. The 10 million and below we are paying. That one is supplementary. That one we have no issue. And it's going to Treasury for the supplementary, and it will be paid. That one, there's no one who is in denial. And we are the ones who actually said, this one, there's no issue. Because trying to verify 100,000 will cost you more. We rather spend our effort and time and energy on the guy who's claiming 300 or 500 or 600 million. So that is where we are when it comes to. So there's also something else Lishenga talks about, the dispute resolution. And he needs to understand that tribunals are not formed by SHA and the ministry. It's the judiciary.
I totally understand.
No. If you understand, then you will know that there's a bill in Parliament that was supposed to harmonize tribunals across all sectors, not just for health. So we cannot just wake up today and form a tribunal. Judiciary has written back and said we cannot form a tribunal for SHA only.
Okay.
What we will do is you wait for that bill to go back to Parliament again, and we have harmonization of all tribunals. But when it comes to dispute resolution, and this is the thing that every facility that has issue, they come to us. He came with his team. We listened, and we clarified. The bishops were with the CS yesterday, and he listened. The county come, we listen. But the problem we have is if you decide the route to talk to is through press conferences, then you will also be answered through a press conference, because that's not how we engage in our providers. And lastly...
So you're telling them, well, me in silence?
No. They come. No. I told you they come. He came with his facilities, the providers, the Kenya Association of Private...
given the audit reports?
No. But he did not come with a facility that had an issue.
What has been sorted?
Guys,
so, allow me to finish so that we understand. So if Lishenga decides that the press conferences is the solution, then the press conferences will be the answers where he will get it.
Can we put egos aside? I think
No.
But
we have met
that ultimately the person who suffers is a patient. Press conference or no press conference,
but
he has brought some issues to your attention.
But
what about the question of mass rejection of claims?
So the mass rejection, he clearly told you that we have opened the system, we have allowed the facilities to resubmit their claims that had an issue, and we have every provider that has an issue, we engage with them because we have contracts with providers directly. Okay. And we have associations that are willing to come to the table and have that discussion. And we have been able to discuss with all those issues. The challenge that we have, when we politicize, and then we make this thing that it is
politicizing.
All right, I only have 2 minutes. I've not even looked at tweets. I've not even given Mheshimiwa a chance to respond. But quickly, he raised something. Can you help me with that, please? He raised something. He talked about how you cannot even see the resubmit button.
No.
And Kenyans,
it is true.
And Kenyans spent 104 billion shillings on that system.
The resubmit button is there. Facilities are able to resubmit, the facilities that have had those issues. And on the issue of the facilities, the strike, from our end, we haven't seen because
because you are threatening facilities and suspending.
No.
You are threatening
all facilities.
You are threatening facilities.
All facilities.
Remember, it's the Kenyan
closing hospitals.
How many
allow me.
He knows. He's
how many facilities did you say?
There is none.
Dr. Lishenga, how many facilities?
There is none.
Dr. Lishenga, how many facilities did you say?
It is Kenyans.
There is a healthcare facility that was featured here the other day, mentioning about the difficulties that they were going through. These our colleagues, these are our friends, these are our classmates. They went ahead and suspended that facility for very frivolous. I don't want to go into that, but they know
how many facilities. Just as
there is none.
How many facilities?
Juja Modern Hospital is suspended.
No.
Okay.
You know that.
Dr. Lishenga, how many facilities
are on strike? There is none.
Are not extending credit line
none.
to SHA?
None.
Dr. Lishenga?
Literally,
I will come to you.
Literally, all facilities in this country are co-charging SHA patients.
Okay,
but
they are not on strike.
Literally. Rufa has 720 facilities.
All right. Okay, let's take a quickly look at some 6 tweets, and then I will give you, Mheshimiwa, to have an opportunity to respond. And you didn't address the 104 billion. All right, let's see. This is Lekishon Laban debating Linda Mama versus Linda Jamii is unnecessary. Regimes come and go, but Kenyans' healthcare remains. Instead of political point scoring, improve existing social healthcare services. Healthcare shouldn't be a battleground. Let leaders settle scores elsewhere.
Thank you.
This is Isaura, who says, I had my baby in a public hospital back in 2018. I was covered by Linda Mama, and my child was in hospital due to complications for 7 days. And I didn't pay a dime. Let them understand SHA is not working because reproducing has become expensive due to SHA. This is Silvers, who says SHA is a burden to hustlers. I earn 25,000 shillings. After deductions, I remain with 16,000 shillings. Then I'm asked to pay 7,000 shillings up front to register my father. How can hustlers or Mama Mboga afford this? SHA isn't healthcare. It is punishment to the hustlers. We have MC Rumas, who says 1 year of SHA has been marred by confusion and anxiety. Patients have suffered under the new medical cover. SHA was untested and untried. What was the need of rushing that program? Linda Mama was much better than what they call an improvement. SHA is a scam. We have Sir Nixon Dugir, who says, true that many Kenyans have registered themselves with SHA, but unfortunately, the services offered by SHA are so poor that people are now not contributing. After all, why contribute and still dig deep in your pocket to pay cash? Then this is Frank Orindo, who says 1 year on, SHA mirrors NHIF's pitfalls, underfunded, uneven uptake, and clear contributions and shaky informal sector inclusion, add corruption and weak oversight, and UHC risks being just another empty slogan. NHIF needed improvements and tight oversight. Mheshimiwa, last word.
Yeah, Olive, allow me to just rebut the question of...
I'm in extra time, so I can only give you 2 minutes.
The announcement by the minister about the 28,000 Kenya shillings ICU. Under SHA, we have a benefits review committee. After it has done its work, the minister took over the announcement. SHA at one, just like a newborn. What are the milestones that a newborn at one would have covered? has SHA literally mirrored the milestones? I think that largely would tell us where we are and what we need to adjust. On the issue of verification of bills, remember Oliver talked about shared services. I still have not understood up to today. When we had the OCO committee verifying pending bills across the country, why did we need to reinvent another committee for SHA, for example? Why didn't we just pass the NHIF bills to the OCO committee that was existing and working? Why duplicate? And to our CS, with a lot of due respect, he has been a tremendous parliamentarian. But I want to request him, with a lot of humility and respect, that please mind your tongue, mind your language, and select your vocabulary. I am in the health committee, I am in the same space, I'm on the government side, he's too bellicose. The rejection of claims, again, and this mirrors what the private sector suffered under an organization known as MAKL.
Terrible, terrible.
It mirrors. And it is important that in a contractual obligation, you cannot have the power to arbitrarily reject claims. There is need for us to have a middle ground. An arbitrator in between. That is important. In terms of the payments, again, so when you say 90 days, do we accumulate debt for 90 days and you pay in full, or do you pay me monthly after the first 90 days?
First in, first out.
So, again, there is need for clarity in that area. And lastly, the private sector. And on the issue of the judiciary advising that we wait for the law, I disagree with that decision. If it is there, it should be vacated. There exists the current law. Until a new law comes in place, the existing legal framework continues to function. Right. On that one, we are not being legitimate. We are not being fair. I mean, lastly, I like the approach that I have seen with facilities at the SHA and under the Conference of Catholic Bishops. KCCB. They will only go to the media sometimes as a last resort. Again, our engagement needs to be improved across the sector.
All right. So you agree with Dr. Theory on that?
Even as Parliament, we need to engage more with the Kenya Healthcare Federation. We need to engage more with RUFA. We need to engage more with SHA. Okay, more engagement. Last word, 1 minute, strictly.
As the umbrella body for private sector, I will give credit to its due. Abdi is one of the few presidential appointees who's available for engagement. And we've had an engagement with him. What I am asking of every Kenyan is to give us latitude during this period where we are trying to make things work. Because not everything can work within the framework of the law. There are some things that we must have solutions for ourselves as we are doing the work. Okay. So one of the things we've agreed with Abdi is on verification. That one we have agreed. Okay. All right. The second thing, I will steal a few more.
No, you will. No, we are already on overtime.
It's okay. That's when goals are scored.
No.
and that said, yeah, I'm giving him a list of facilities that have agreed to be verified. I will leave it at his door. Okay. He has promised to implement.
Dr. Lishenga?
So quick points, Olive. Thank you for having us here, and thank you, my colleagues. All of you are colleagues. Number one, I would ask the Ministry of Health to move to true UHC and move away from proxy means testing. You've heard Kenyans saying, can't ask me which toilet I use to put up my contributions. Please move away from that. Number two, I would ask the Social Health Authority to activate the Emergency Chronic and Critical Illness Fund. Too many Kenyans suffering because of emergencies because that fund is not activated. And also, please come up with proper mechanisms of transition from SHIF to that fund. Number three, depoliticize healthcare. Number four, The benefits package, Mheshimiwa, under primary health care needs to be looked at urgently because Kenyans are paying out of pocket regardless of what you are saying. Number 5, they arrest 3,500 delivery beds in one day in July. 10,000 inpatient beds, they arrest through digital whatever. I am requesting KMPDC, DHA, SHA, please, the KMPDC Act of 2021 provides for deliveries at level 2 hospitals, okay, and at some and level 3C hospitals. Please do not inconvenience Kenyan women by arresting beds.
Okay, thank you very much. I am so sorry. Lazima ishe hapo. Hata nimekula naona Safina hapo anaangalia simu yake because of time. Dr. Abdi Mohamed, Chair of the Social Health Authority, Dr. Tim Theory, CEO Kenya Healthcare Federation, Dr. Brian Lishenga, Chair Rufa, and last but definitely not least, Duncan Mathenge, MP Nyeri Town, Member Health Committee. The conversation continues. We haven't even touched on the 104 billion shilling system that caused a lot of uproar. I will ask them to come for round 2 at a date suitable for all of them. Have yourself a good morning.